Lesson 6.5, Dividing Polynomials. In this lesson, we're going to take a factor and we're going to divide it out of another expression. Long division of polynomials is just like long division that we learned a long time ago. So if we had 156 divided by 12, we would look at how many times 12 went into 15, which is once. 12 times 1 is 12, and then we subtract them. And then we bring down the 6. 36 divided by 12 is 3. 3 times 12 is 36. We subtract it, and because it's a remainder of 0, it means that 13 is a perfect factor of 156. And 12 is also a factor. Now we're going to divide 4x to the third plus 2x squared plus 3x plus 5. We're going to divide that by x squared plus 3x plus 1. So it's important to know we have 4x to the third plus 2x to the second plus 3x plus 5. It's important to know if we're missing any of these exponents. We have x to the third, x to the second, x to the first. We've got all of the exponents. If we were missing any, we'd have to fill it in with a 0. So now we're going to look at the first term, 4x to the third, and we're going to divide that by x squared. So if we take 4x to the third divided by x squared, that's 4x. That's the greatest common factor. That's the first factor in the expression. Then we're going to multiply it by x squared plus 3x plus 1. So that leaves us 4x to the third plus 12x squared plus 4x. So we're going to write that right here below the original problem. And now, just like when we did long division with numbers, we have to subtract this now. So we have to subtract or change the signs on all these terms. The first term should cancel out. 2x squared minus 12x squared is negative 10x squared. 3x minus 4x is a negative x. And we bring down the next term. Now we're going to repeat the process. We're going to take the first term and divide it by the first term. So negative 10x squared divided by x squared is negative 10. And then we're going to multiply negative 10 times what we're dividing out. So we have negative 10x squared minus 30x minus 10. So negative 10x to the second minus 30x minus 10. And now we have to subtract that. So we're going to subtract, which means we have to change all the signs. And then we combine it. This cancels out. 29x plus 15. So we are done dividing now. We can write our answer. Our answer is going to be so we have the 4x, the minus 10, and this is our remainder down here. So we're going to write plus 29x plus 15, all divided by what we're dividing by in the first place, which is x squared plus 3x plus 1. Okay, the next problem, we're going to take 15x to the third plus 8x minus 12 and divide it by 3x squared plus 6x plus 1. So this one, when we divide it out, we are missing the x squared term. So we have 15x to the third plus 0x squared plus 8x minus 12. We're going to go through the same process. We're going to take the first term, 15x to the third, divide it by 3x squared. And that's 5x. And we're going to multiply it by the factor that we're factoring out. So that gives us 15x to the third plus 30x squared plus 5x. So write that right here, and then we have to subtract it. Subtract, subtract, subtract. First term cancels out. We're left with negative 30x squared plus 3x. Bring down the negative 12 and repeat the process. The first term divided by the first term. So negative 30x squared divided by 3x squared is negative 10. Multiply that by the original factor, 3x squared plus 6x plus 1. So we have negative 30x squared plus minus 60x minus 10. And then we subtract all the terms. So subtracting a negative becomes positive, subtracting a negative becomes positive, and that one's positive. The first terms cancel out. 60x plus 3x is 63x. Negative 12 plus 10 is negative 2. So our first factor was 5x. Our second factor was negative 10. And now we have our remainder, which is 63x minus 2, all divided by 3x squared plus 6x plus 1. X to the second plus 16. And we're going to divide that into 9x to the fourth plus x to the third plus 11x squared plus 0x minus 4. So the first term, 9x to the fourth, divided by the first term, x squared, that's going to give us 9x squared. And then we're going to multiply that by x squared plus 16. 9x to the fourth plus 144 x squared. So make sure these line up when you write them in there. 9x to the fourth, we don't have an x to the third term, but we do have an x squared term. So now we subtract them. First one cancels out, and then we bring down the x to the third because it's got no like term. Negative 144 plus 11 is negative 133 x squared, and just keep repeating the process. X to the third divided by x squared. That's going to be x multiplied by the original factor, x squared plus 16. X to the third plus 16x. Subtract them. First terms cancel out. Negative 133x squared. Should bring this 0x down too. That's going to be minus 16x. And keep repeating until you run out of factors that work. Negative 133x squared divided by x squared is negative 133 multiplied by x squared plus 16. Negative 133x squared minus 2,128. Right here, and we're going to subtract it. And we have to bring down the minus 4 all the way down here. And we're going to subtract everything. First terms cancel out. We have negative 16x plus 2,124. So our first factor was 9x squared. Our second factor was x. The last factor was negative 133. And then our remainder was negative 16x plus 2,124, all divided by x squared plus 16. Okay, so now we're going to learn a technique called synthetic division. And with synthetic division, you can see, once you learn the process, that you have 3, which is the same as that 3, 10, which is the same as that 10, 20, which is that, and then the remainder, which goes in that little box, same as that remainder right there. So when you divide out using synthetic division, if we're starting with 3x to the third and we're dividing out an x, this is 1 less. The x one is 1 less. So here, 3x squared plus 10x plus 20, and then the remainder is 50, and it's going to be divided by the original factor, x minus 2. So using synthetic division, we take the x plus 5, because that's what we're dividing by, set it equal to 0. So x equals negative 5. That's what we're going to use to do synthetic division with. Then we write the coefficients, so 7x to the third, there's no x squared term, so that's 0, then negative 6, and then 9. So now we're set up to do synthetic division. Step 1, bring the 7 down. Step 2, it's negative 5 times 7. We write that here. 0 minus 35 is negative 35. Then it's negative 5 times negative 35, which is 175. 175 minus 6 is 169. And negative 5 times 169, negative 845. Negative 845 plus 9 is negative 836. So now we are done. This is way quicker than long division. We started with 7x to the third. We factored one of the x's out, so now we're down to x squared. So it's 7x squared minus 35x plus 169, and then the remainder is negative 836 over our original factor, which is x plus 5. We also could have written this as, instead of having the minus up there with the 836, we can write it right there. So instead of plus and negative, it's just subtracting 836 over x plus 5 at the end. Okay, same process as before. Take the x minus 2, set it equal to 0. That's going to give us x equal to 2. So 2 is our divisor, and we're going to divide that into 2x to the third plus 5x squared minus 1x plus 7. So the process is you're going to bring down the first term. 2 times 2 is 4. 5 plus 4 is 9. 2 times 9 is 18. 18 minus 1 is 17. 2 times 17 is 34. 34 plus 7 is 41. So our final answer here is 2x to the second plus 9x plus 17 plus the remainder, which is 41, divided by the original factor, x minus 2. Alright, same process, just another example. X plus 1/3 equals 0, so we're going to subtract 1/3 from both sides. So we have negative 1/3 as our divisor. 6x to the fourth minus 25x to the third plus 0x squared minus 3x plus 5. Step 1, bring the 6 down. Negative 1/3 times 6 is negative 2. Negative 25 plus negative 2 is negative 27. Negative 1/3 times negative 27 is positive 9. 0 plus 9 is 9. Negative 1/3 times 9 is negative 3. Negative 3 minus 3 is negative 6. And negative 1/3 times negative 6 is positive 2. 5 plus 2 is 7. So we have final answer of 6 x to the third minus 27x squared plus 9x minus 6 plus the remainder of 7. There we go, final answer. So we've had a lot of practice dividing and using synthetic division in these previous problems. But what we're looking for is we're looking for something that has a remainder of 0. If this factor, when I divide it out, has a remainder of 0, it means that it is a factor, and it means that the graph will cross the x-axis at negative 3. So rather than go through all that work, we can do something called, or we can use the factor theorem or the remainder theorem to figure out if something's factorable or not. So we take the x plus 3, still want to set it equal to 0. Subtract 3 from both sides. X equals negative 3. And now we can substitute that into for x. So we have negative 3 cubed plus 3 times negative 3 squared minus 4 times negative 3 minus 12. So if this equals 0, then that means x plus 3 is a factor, and we're going to want to factor it out. So we have negative 27 plus 27 plus 12 minus 12. So yes, this equals 0. So x plus 3 is a factor. So we want to finish factoring this one. So we'll use synthetic division. Negative 3. Then we have 1, 3, negative 4, negative 12. So we're going to bring down the 1. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. Negative 3 times 0 is 0. Minus 4 plus 0 is minus 4. Negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12. So this, we had our original factor, which was x plus 3. And now, once we factored out x plus 3, we're left with x squared minus 4. And x squared minus 4 is the difference of two squares. So we can factor one more time, x minus 2, x plus 2. So there is our final factors. That means the graph crosses the x-axis at -3, 2, and -2. So first we want to check and see if x plus 4 is a factor. So we set it equal to 0. X equals -4. Substitute that in, we get 2 times -4 to the 4th plus 8 times -4 to the 3rd plus 2 times -4 plus 8. That equals 0, so this one is factorable, so now let's go ahead and work on factoring it. So -4 is the factor. We're going to use synthetic division. 2x to the 4th plus 8x to the 3rd plus 0x squared plus 2 plus 8. Step 1, bring the 2 down. -4 times 2 is -8. -8 minus 8 is 0. -4 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. -4 times 0 is 0. 2 plus 0 is 2. -4 times 2 is -8. So now we have 2x to the 3rd plus 2. And then we also had our original factor of x plus 4. So it looks like 2x to the 3rd plus 2 is not factorable, but if we factor a 2 out of both sides, we have 2 times x to the 3rd plus 1. That's the sum of cubes, times x plus 4. 2 times the sum of cubes, it's going to be x plus 1, times x squared minus x plus 1 times x plus 4. Alright, last one. X minus 1, set it equal to 0. X equals 1. So now we have 3 times 1 to the 3rd minus 2 times 1 plus 5. So this is going to be 3 minus 2 plus 5, which is 6. So this one is not 0, so this one's not a factor, so we're done with this one. We don't have to do any more work. We can just say not factorable and on to the next problem.